Carmine Appice is an American drummer and percussionist most commonly associated with the rock genre of music. He is best known for his associations with Vanilla Fudge, Cactus, The Power Trio, Beck, Bogert and Appice, Rod Stewart, King Kobra, and Blue Murder, which also featured John Sykes, of Whitesnake and Thin Lizzy fame, and Tony Franklin of The Firm. Appice was inducted into the Classic Drummer Hall of Fame in 2013 and the Modern Drummer Hall of Fame in 2014. He is credited with influencing later rock drummers including Iron Maiden's Nicko McBrain, Aerosmith's Joey Kramer, Roger Taylor of Queen, Phil Collins of Genesis, Rush's Neil Peart, Mötley Crüe's Tommy Lee, Slayer's Dave Lombardo, Richard Christy, Chris Grainger, David Kinkade, Ray Mehlbaum, Led Zeppelin's John Bonham, Ian Paice of Deep Purple, Anvil's Robb Reiner and Derek Singer of Kiss.
So we're neighbors. We were neighbors anyway. I was born in Brooklyn as well.
Oh.
We're what part?
Well, we live in Borough Park,
Okay.
14th Avenue, 40th Street.
Yeah, my grandparents lived in Borough Park. I lived in Flatbush and then
Yeah.
Rockaway Parkway.
Right, okay. I used to go to the Rockaway Parkway Pier
Yeah.
and make out with chicks in my car.
Wow.
That's
I was too
funny.
young, but I would have been there with you. Then
Yeah.
then we met later on. I used to manage my father's place in Roslyn with Epi.
Oh, you didn't?
Yeah,
Wow.
with Epi. Yeah, you remember Epi?
Yeah, with Epi, sure, of course.
Yeah, yeah.
Epi's still around, I think.
Epi's still around.
Yeah.
He's still booking acts, and when I was
In my father's place?
it's a new name.
New venue.
He's working out of the Roslyn Hotel, and
Oh, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right. Because we
yeah.
played there with Vanilla Fudge.
right. And then when I was a kid, I used to live in the Belmore Merrick area. You know,
Where's that?
South Belmore, South
Oh,
Merrick.
Belmont. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. And I used to see you and Jeff Beck traveling down, was it Hewlett Avenue? Was your management down there?
We
In
were
Merrick?
in Island Park.
Okay, Basile.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he lived in Merrick.
He lived in, oh God, I forgot the name. Not Belmont.
No, Merrick. Right next to Belmore, Merrick.
Yeah, he lived more in Belmont actually because
Oh, maybe it was.
when you're
Yeah,
going down Merrick Park, Merrick Road, you go
Yeah,
over,
Belmore
you go over
Avenue.
was it Wantaw Freeway or something?
Montauk Highway.
And then you make a right and you
Yeah.
go to his house.
I used to see you guys traveling.
Belmont, I think it is
Yeah,
Belmont.
yeah, and I think you guys, somebody had a Maserati at the time?
I had a Lamborghini, I had a
Lam-
Pantera,
Pantera, that's
red
probably-
one, a red
Yeah,
one.
yep. And we knew it was you guys all the time. It was,
Yeah.
Yep.
Tim had a white one, I had a red one.
and then not too long after that, I saw you play with Beck at Hofstra University.
Mm-hmm, right?
Long John Baldry was your opening act,
Yeah.
and I remember it was in the gymnasium. I think it was an incredible show.
So what do you do now? What is this fly in the wall thing?
Okay, well, let me tell you what after I left Epi, I got involved in stadiums and arenas. I used to manage stadiums and arenas, and I wound up in Florida. I know you're in Florida now. And,
You're in Florida? Where are you
yeah,
in Florida?
I was in Florida. I was living in Florida at the time, and I was opening up accounts for this big corporation I was working for, and I got ill, so I came back. I'm in New Mexico now. So I came back to New Mexico. That's where I'm stationed now.
Why are you in
And
New Mexico?
I was running the amphitheaters out here,
Wow.
and then my kids followed me out here with grandkids, and so when it came
You're
to,
out, you're stuck.
I'm stuck. So so anyway, what happened was my first gig in the music business was with Michael Shreve.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Santana's drummer. When I was, he had put together a band called Novo Combo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep, and I worked with him on the Novo project.
Oh,
and
cool.
I still speak to Michael. You know,
Tell him I say hello.
yeah. I'm going to speak to him later today. He sends his regards too. I spoke to him the other day.
I just saw a video with him and Billy Cobham and Gregorico.
Yeah. Stick figure, the stick people.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
I haven't seen, he had white hair like me.
We all do.
Hippie, though. I got the
But you're
hippie
lucky.
hair.
I mean, we have the hair. A lot of
I just
guys
stopped-
don't
I
have
just-
it anymore.
I just stopped dyeing it. You know,
Yeah,
like,
you look great.
months ago.
You look,
Yeah, I feel good. You
what
know?
part of Florida are you in?
We're in outside West Palm,
Okay,
in a place called Lake Worth.
okay. I was in Sebring for a while. And,
Where's that?
That's right central. I was opening up an account for my
Like
corporation.
Orlando-ish?
It's right in the middle of nowhere. And then
Oh.
I was in Coral Springs for a bit. And, Lauderdale, the whole bit. But anyway, I spoke to Michael. He sends his regards. And, so I'm pretty close with all the stick people guys. Lenny White and,
Yeah, I didn't know what that was. What is that stick PS? Somebody
It's-
sent me that yesterday, first time I ever saw it.
Really, it's, Lenny White, Garibaldi, Gregorico, Shreve, and Mike Clark from the Headhunters.
And Billy Cobham.
No, Billy was just Billy
Like
was
a
just an
guest?
interview they did.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, they
and
do it all together?
They do it all together.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So if you're interested, I'll drop
Yeah,
a line
sure.
to Michael.
That sounds like I was watching it. I found it interesting because
Yeah, well,
you know,
Michael's.
I knew Billy when he was in Dreams, and then
Yep.
then he became one of my favorites in Ma Vishna.
Great.
And then Gregorico, I know,
Yeah.
Michael, I know, and
Yep.
Lenny, I know them all. You know,
Yeah.
but it was interesting seeing. At first, I didn't recognize Greg,
Right.
and then I realized it was Greg. And then Derek Garibaldi, I didn't recognize at all because he cut his hair real short.
Yeah, they've all done the show with me. Actually, they've all done
Wow, that's
the
funny.
podcast. Yeah.
That's
And,
like the thing me and my brother do, hanging and banging.
Yeah, exactly.
We got all our friends on, except we only get 2 at a time.
Right.
You know,
Okay.
and, it's going really well.
And how is your brother doing? Still
Good.
playing? She's still
Yeah,
playing.
oh yeah,
as
we
well?
just did drum war shows. And he's
Uh-huh.
playing. Well, he's got Last in Line, which is with him and Vivian Campbell from the Dio Band.
Right.
And it used to be Jimmy Bain, but he passed away, so they got Phil Sassoon to play with Ozzy.
Okay.
And they got a singer, and they go around, they go all over the world. And,
Oh wow.
they play Dio stuff and new stuff. They got albums out. And they do well. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
how can you not do well? You got the guitar player of Def Leppard in there.
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was working with Michael, early '80s. You had come through town with Rod Stewart,
Right.
and you played the Garden. And I
It might have been 82 when I wasn't with him.
Oh, maybe.
Because last time I played the Garden was 79.
Oh, okay.
And we played 80 in Europe and 81 in Japan
Right.
and Asia. And then I was gone by the end of 81.
Now you're a god in Japan.
What's that?
You're a god in Japan. You know.
Oh, I
people-
know Japan. I can't go there anymore.
No.
Mm-mm. I've got a health issue that it has to do with a vein behind my nose that breaks out. Shouldn't be there, and when it bleeds, it hemorrhages.
Oh wow.
When I was in Europe with my brother in 2018, I almost died from it. So I have to be around people in America here that know how to fix that. 'Cause, I ended up being in the Canary Islands when it hit, and my wife got me a medical airlift after the plane dropped me and my brother off in the Azores.
Oh,
You know
wow.
where that is?
I heard of it. I was never there.
It's a little island south
Yeah.
of Greenland,
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. And so we got a medical airlift back to the closest English-speaking hospital was back to Paris. Went back there, and they wanted to cut my face open. And she said, "No, you got to go in through the arteries," and they wouldn't do it. So then we got another medical airlift back to New York. And by the time I got there, the padding, the gauze in my nose was infected. When I got there, they said 24 more hours I would have been dead.
Jeez.
And they said, "I hope he's not mentally disabled."
Really?
So from then on, I said, I can't go to Japan or Europe or any of that. I have to be somewhere in America where I can get to a hospital, a neurosurgeon hospital,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, I've had a couple of heart attacks, so
So-
I know how you feel.
Anyway, but I love Japan, and I always did great there.
Yeah.
And you're right, I was like a legendary dude over there.
Yeah, you were. I mean, from the days of
Yeah.
Beck on, And
Yeah, and then in the 90s, I spent the whole 90s there pretty much because the grunge thing over here put us out of business,
right,
you know?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
so we
Now,
went over to Japan.
Now, the Vanilla Fudge, obviously iconic. You guys pretty much started that whole psychedelic thing. You know, it was incredible. You guys, you know, it was just an incredible band. In fact, I do a radio show twice a week, and just about every weekend I play something by the Fudge.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. And then,
Did you hear the new one yet?
yeah, I did. I have a copy of it actually.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, and great album. Are you guys gonna hit the road again?
Hey, yeah, we're playing. We got 9 shows coming up.
Yeah.
In the first one's October 26th. Playing with Robbie Krieger on some of them.
Oh wow.
We'll do
Robbie's been on the show.
Yeah, we did 5. We've done 5 from the 26th to November 1st. And then we have a break, and I do 3 shows with Cactus in that break.
Yep.
And then we come back on November 13th to the 18th. Yeah, so
You're not coming out west though, are you?
No, not this time.
Okay.
I think these were just experimental shows to see if it can work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
It was weird. I was on stage for the first time last week.
Really?
That was weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was my drum solo the first night was terrible. The next night it was better, and by the third night it was back to par.
Yeah. No, you were. I've been watching old YouTube videos.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't lost it from the Vanilla Fudge days to you know.
Well, I lost some speed. You know.
Yeah.
I know. Only I would know.
Yeah, it's funny though because I do speak to a lot of drummers, and a lot of the guys had shoulder issues.
I did that.
Yeah.
2 rotator cuff surgeries.
Yep, a lot of surgeries, a
Yep.
lot of a lot of rehab and stuff.
Yeah.
But you're out there playing. But what I was getting at from the psychedelic phase that you guys did, you got into the whole heavy-duty rock thing, and you pretty much invented this metal rock, this heavy metal rock thing, where you're the go-to guy. There's nothing that you haven't been involved with that you were the centerpiece.
Yeah.
I mean, you were the government mule shows you did.
Yeah.
That was New Year's, I believe, right?
Yeah, I did them 5 years in a row until COVID.
Yeah, and you stole the show.
Yeah, it was fun. They always did one of my songs. The first one was Hanging On.
Yep.
And we did Evil. We did Parchment Farm. We did Superstition from BBA.
Yep.
Yeah, good.
And Mule's great outfit. Haynes is incredible. Warren's just an
They're
incredible
great.
guy.
Yeah. I'm trying to get all those guys to do a Tim Bogert tribute. Built with Billy Sheehan and Jorgen from Government Mule and Warren.
Yeah.
Because on a Hanging and Banging show, we did a tribute to Tim. We had Joe Bonamassa, which I was very surprised with. We were supposed to have a band, Bonamassa, Bogert, and Appice, just before he broke big. His manager said, it's not in my plans. And I go, well, what the hell are your plans? And then I saw what his plans for. 2 years later, he was doing 2 nights at the Beacon, from BB King's to 2 nights at the Beacon.
Yeah.
I jammed with him at BB King's. We were hanging out. And then in 2006, in January, me and Tim and Joe jammed at the NAMM show that's on YouTube.
Uh-huh.
We did Superstition, and that was going to be the manager we have now managing the Fudge had a whole bunch of gigs for pretty big money.
Yeah.
For all of us, because the 3 of us together were strong.
Right.
And he wasn't that big yet. And he was as big as we were. We played the same kind of shows as him and sell out.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he exploded. But anyway, so he was on the show to tribute to Tim. So I'm going to ask him if he would, I don't know where we're going to do it yet, but Billy Sheehan started the idea in my head.
Oh. And
He
Tim
called me up.
Tim passed away just over a year ago.
Not even a year.
No.
January January 15th this year. But we got him, luckily we got him on the track, Stop in the Name of Love. So really, right now, we are the only band from 1967 to release a new song with the original band. Because everybody back then, you know, who was in the top 10 with us, including the Beatles and the Stones and Hendrix and the Cream and the Who, Jefferson Airplane. Nobody has an original, you know, all original members on the new recording.
Yeah. Wow. That's
So
right.
it's really like a first.
You know, it's an interesting album. The album you did with Vargas.
Yes, that is an interesting album.
It's a great album. I was listening to that yesterday, and
Where'd you find that?
I got a copy. You need one?
You got an actual copy of it?
I have a MP3 download of it.
Wow.
You want a copy? I'll send you one.
No, I got them. I got the albums, CDs. I got
It's a great album.
MP3s. I got the Waves. Yep, and that's with Paul Shortino.
Yeah.
And Paul Shortino's working with me on the new King Kobra record right now.
Wow.
That's interesting. So I got me and the original bass player Johnny Rod, Paul, and I just recruited Rowan Robinson from Dio, and Carlos Cavazo from Quiet Riot.
And how about the stuff you did with Salas? With Stevie
Salas?
Yeah.
My guitars stuff?
Yep.
Well, that stuff is awesome, man. I got a lot of stuff going on considering the COVID, because we moved to Florida. I got a studio here, so I did a lot of work stuff here. And we're releasing, we just released a project called Appice Perdomo project. And then we released the Stop in the Name of Love. We did all that during COVID. And we also worked on this 30th anniversary of Guitar Zeus, 25th anniversary of Guitar Zeus. We did 3 new tracks. And we got Tommy there from Kiss on one, along with Derek Sherinian from Sons of Apollo.
Right.
And me and Tony and Kelly. And that's a brand new song, and we did a video for that. And I did the video in my studio here, you know, so everything that I've worked on is coming out now. And now next year we're going to have the King Kobra thing come out, and we're working on that now.
Now you were involved in so many, you know, quote unquote supergroups.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you know, KGB. You know, you go back to KGB.
KGB. I never even mentioned KGB because nobody pretty much knows about KGB.
Yeah. Well, that was. I mean, they couldn't have been a bigger supergroup.
Yeah, that was. It was interesting. That was the first LA album, I call it the LA sound that I've ever done, where it's more about the songs than the playing. You know, up until then, Vanilla Fudge was about the arrangements and the playing, Cactus about the arrangements and the playing, BBA, the arrangements and the playing. And then that came along, and that was the bridge from BBA to Rod Stewart.
Right.
You know?
Oh.
But it was not a great experience, because when I was in that band, I was asked to join Rainbow.
Oh, really?
And I couldn't, because I was signed to KGB with MCA. In those days, you know, you can't just play with KGB and MCA and play with Rainbow on whatever label they were on.
Right.
You know? So I couldn't do that. So I had to tell Richie no, I couldn't do it. So you got Cozy Pal. And that was the second time somebody got Cozy Pal, because I couldn't be in it. Jeff Beck was the first one.
Right.
And then Rainbow was the second one. So after that, when I saw Cozy, I used to bust his balls in the New York way and go, "You like my professional replacement?"
There you go. There you go.
And we joked about that. And then
Cozy did take some of your style. Cozy.
Oh yeah, Cozy definitely did.
Yeah.
And there's a book called Thunder of Drums that Chris Welch from Melody Maker wrote. And it's all with interviews that he did with John Bonham, Cozy Powell, back in the day. And they talk about when John Bonham opened up for Vanilla Fudge with Zeppelin, and he was all excited to be hanging out with me, and I got him a Ludwig drum endorsement. And he went back, and him and Cozy were like, Cozy going, "Well, so what was it like?" You know, and he was telling him about his experiences. And, you know, up until then, when I would say that you know, that John told me I was his influence. You know, people would start saying, you know, like I'm egoing out because I'm telling the truth.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
But then when that book came out, and it wasn't only John, it was Cozy too, talking about the stuff, that it legitimized, you know, made my story legitimate.
Well, you were.
And then I was able to talk about it because, you know, people would put me down for being like an egomaniac, that's saying that, you know, I influenced John Bonham because John Bonham was so big, you know.
Right. Well,
but that's what happens.
People don't remember the Vanilla Fudge. You were the centerpiece of that band as well. I mean, the guys in the band were great, but all eyes were focused on you. You know, you were just the.
And I had the big drums. I started the fad of the big drums.
Yeah. Plus,
you know, and that's why Bonzo wanted the kit like mine, because they were bigger and louder, and he had the same exact kit, 2 bass drums. And then on the second tour, we were equal bill, and he had 2 bass drums. At the end of that tour, Robert and Jimmy said, "You're too busy with the bass drums. You got to take one away." When you take that one away, Led Zeppelin drum set was born.
Wow.
So that's part of rock history.
I never saw you play the same drums twice.
No?
No, you have different. Every Ludwig, Premier, Slingerland's.
Well, I did. Can you hold on 1 minute?
Yeah.
Alan, I'm just doing that interview still. I'll call you back when I'm done. I will text it to me. Okay, bye-bye.
You know, the deep.
Yeah, I played that maple kit from a starter of Vanilla Fudge with a Gretsch, with a big bass drum that I bought in the pawn shop.
Really?
And that was a red sparkle kit. Then I got the big Ludwigs. I played those from 68, 69, 70, 71, with Cactus. And then in 72, they gave me the Octoplus set. It was all the drums. I played that with BBA, and I played that with Rod Stewart. And then I played the same kit with bottom heads. Those kids had only one head. I played the next kit was a maple kit, the same sizes, but I put bottom heads on it.
Okay.
So I was the only one that had an Octoplus kit with the bottom heads. And I played that a long time. I played that from 76 until 82.
Oh.
And then 82, I got a Slingerland kit, which was red lacquer tom-toms and black lacquer bass drums. And then after that, I played Pearl. I mean, come on, my career was 55 years, you know, so, you know, and it got to the point where I'd written drum books, and every time I changed drums, I would change the drum book cover. And finally, the last 10 years ago, I have an oil painting that my ex-girlfriend did of me. And I said, I took a picture of that. I said, this is going to be the cover of the book. I can't keep changing drum set covers, you know, because then it ruins the brand.
Right.
You know, so I put that oil painting on there, and that's been the cover for 10 years.
And then you had the D drums, right?
Yeah, I've been with D drums now since 2008. It's a long time. And Sabian Cymbals, I've been with them a long time, except I did a 3-year stint where I left them, but I came back. So altogether, I've probably been with them 32, 33 years.
Well, and then I remember you had the big gong behind you.
I had the gong, the pasty gong.
And the pasty gong, yep.
I started, that was me too. I was the first one to have a gong. Because, you know, Vanilla Fudge is like an orchestra. And I got a kettle drum as well. So, yeah, so really, I mean, I did go through drum companies, and it's just the way it went, you know.
Right.
I went with Slingerland Drum Company twice, and they both went out of business both times.
Wow.
You know, and so then I was, what was it? Well, a Premier Drum Company was in the late '80s. I went with them, and then they went out of business. Right. And then I went with Mapex for 13 years. You know, so I spent a long time at these drum companies. And yeah, all the drums are pretty much the same. It's what you order, you know, and what they do with you and how they treat you.
Okay.
Then if they're staying in business or out of business.
Yeah. Now the Guitar Zeus projects that you've been doing, that kind of, I was looking for kind of a reference on that, And the only thing I could come up with is it's the heavy metal version of Ringo Starr's All-Star Band. You know, that kind of thing. And,
well, it wasn't like that at all, because I never played gigs. I did some gigs at Ham Show, but the idea came from when I was in a band called Mother's Armies. You know that one?
Yeah, I do have Mother's Army. Yeah.
Okay, that was Bob Daisley, Jeff Watson, and Joe Lanterna. And when we were out in California at Jeff's house doing that, Jeff had just got a solo deal, because he just came out of Night Ranger. Now, I had a solo deal 10 years before that, and I was still looking to do another album. You know, so I was always wanting to have get that hit drum single that Cozy Powell did.
Yeah.
And Cozy Cole and Teen Beat and all that stuff. So I said to Jeff, I said, man, you're unbelievable. You're a guitar player, you come out of a band, and you immediately get a solo deal. You know, I said, what do I got to be, a guitar player?
Yeah.
You know? I said, yeah, or maybe I'll just do a guitar album. I said, I'll call it Guitar Gods, you know? And then we were screwing with the name for the Mother's Army to call it Zeus, which would have been a cool name for Mother's Army. You know? I don't know why we settled on Mother's Army, which I think it's a silly name now that I think of it.
Well, everything's
You know,
silly
but
when you
anyway,
look back on it.
But Zeus, to me, was like, cool. So I said, I'll call it Guitar Gods. Then I was kidding around. I said, I'll call it Guitar Zeus. I was kidding around, you know. And then I went to bed that night, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
I can do an album with all these great guitar player friends of mine. Call it Guitar Zeus, Carmine Appice, Guitar Zeus. It'd be my solo album.
Right.
So I spent the next couple of years putting it together. I found a manager that was able to get me a record deal in Japan in the 90s, because Japan was happening. And then in the interim, I was doing clinics. I ran into Brian May at a clinic in House of Guitars in Rochester, New York. And I told him, I said, you know, do you mind? I'm going to do this album. Would you play on it? Play a solo? He goes, yeah. So all I need is a solo. So then I got a commitment from him, Ted Nugent, same way, and the guys from King's X, same way. And then I found this guy, Kelly Keeling, as we were going to Japan. Kelly played with the John Sykes in the second Blue Murder album.
Right.
And the song called I'm on Fire, which he sings the hell out of it.
Right.
And then I found out he plays guitar and he writes. I went over his place and I listened to his material. It was all great stuff, but it was too long. I had to be like a butcher and cut the fat off everything and put the songs, you know, more in context and more point.
Right.
And, you know, I had a lot of songwriting experience from working with Rod and all the other bands. So me and Kelly were great, and I asked Tony Franklin, who was my favorite bass player beside Tim, if he'd play on it. So I loved that fretless bass, and I figured if I got me, Kelly, and Tony, we'd have the nucleus of Blue Murder, and we would grab that whole Blue Murder crowd, you know? So I described it as Blue Murder meets Soundgarden meets the Beatles with solos, you know, with guest star solos. Because that's what we drew from. We have songs that sound Beatle-ish. Yeah. We have songs that sound like Soundgarden. Right. You know, and we have songs that sound like Blue Murder. You know, and
I love your version of Painted Black.
Painted Black, that was on the first solo album. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
it was with Dwayne Hitchings.
It's on V8 too, right? V8.
Oh, V8. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it was V8. The V8 one never really came out on the label that paid for it.
Right.
It was sitting in my, my closet for years. And, I just said, you know what? All the people that are at that label, I won't even mention their name. There's nobody there anymore. Right. Then I can know if I released this. I released it on, not really released it. I released it on my buddy's label that really, we just sold it at gigs, and then I started releasing it with different projects. Like I put my first solo album and the second solo album on Fuel Records, and we did a double CD of it.
Yeah, it's on twice.
I mean, that record I did straight after I was on Blow by Blow with Jeff Beck. Right. Because I got Jeff into that thing by listening to Mahavishnu Orchestra and Billy Cobham albums on the road with BBA. There's a song called Jizz Whiz that we did that's coming out. We do have a live BBA record coming out.
Oh, really?
Hopefully next year. Yeah, we mixed it, and Tim fixed the vocals before he passed away, and way before, 2 years. And then Tim signed the agreement with Jeff's manager to give him the rights to get a new deal, which he said he's real close to a deal on it. And there's 7 new songs on it.
Oh, wow.
And 3 old songs. And one of them is Jizz Whiz, which is, a time signature, starts in 13/8, goes to 6/8 and 3/4,
Right.
and it's instrumental. So I say that's like the bridge between BBA and Blow by Blow. And I was on Blow by Blow with Jeff.
That's right. And
I couldn't work a deal out with Jeff, and so I was off it. And I realized recently I never got paid for any of it. I was in England for 3 months. And then I met Rick Gretsch. I brought Rick Gretsch out to California, and that's how he got in KGB.
KGB, right?
It was when I was hanging out in England then. So.
Yeah, let me just interrupt 1 second for the people who don't know. Rick Gretsch was the bass player in Traffic that wound up in Blind Faith with Clapton and Winwood and Baker, and then he went over to KGB with Carmine.
Then got back into drugs and then died.
Yeah, he died.
Yeah. So when I came back to the States, I moved to LA, and I got a deal to do a solo album. This was 1977, and I was in 74, 75 is when I was in England with Jeff doing Blow by Blow.
Right.
So when I came back, like a year and a half later, I had my own deal, so I brought my own people. I got Max Middleton, who was on Blow by Blow.
Yeah.
I got Verdine White. I got Jeff Haslip on bass. I got Dick Wagner on guitar. My friend Benny Schultz on guitar. And we did a Blow by Blow album,
Right.
but half of it was vocals,
Right.
and half of it was not, and
Right.
And then the label said to me, "Oh, well, you're not known for this stuff, so we're not going to release it." Oh man, it pissed me off, because I think that record is killer. That song called Steam Coach, Max Middleton starts it, and it sounds like should have been on Blow by Blow,
Yep. And Max was on the Orange album, Beck's Orange.
Yeah, Max was on every album.
Yeah.
Rough and Ready. He was on Blow by
Rough and
Blow.
Ready,
He was on Wired. He was on every Jeff Beck album. He was Jeff Beck's partner. Songwriter for forever.
Yeah, in fact,
Many
Going Down.
Going Down. That was the Orange album. He was on the other album, the Rough and Ready.
Rough and Ready.
He was on that album.
Right after Rod Stewart left, Max came in, right? Right around that time.
Yeah, it was the next album. That was the album that was supposed to be Cactus.
Right.
It was supposed to be Jeff, me, Rod, and Tim. And then he got in his car wrecked, and when we did Cactus, we didn't want to wait around, so he did that. That's when he got Cozy. That's why I say it was the first time Cozy replaced me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, and then that went, and we liked those albums. And then when he released the second album, he was on tour, and he contacted me and Tim and said he still wanted to do it. Would we want to come out, start it off, and play with Jeff? So we went out and just played with Jeff as a Jeff Beck group. We were still in Cactus, playing Jeff gigs and Cactus gigs.
Wow.
All right? And then that was in the summertime. And then in the fall, he came back to America as a Jeff Beck group featuring Jeff, Tim, and Carmine.
Oh, wow.
And then we did that. And then at the end of that tour, we went right into Chess Records and started writing and recording. And we already had Superstition. Stevie wrote for Jeff.
Right.
And he wasn't supposed to release it.
Right.
So there's a lot of crazy stuff going on then,
Yeah. Now,
really historical stuff,
It is. It really is. That's what I wanted to talk to you. When, if you had to pick, now I know this is hard. This is a crazy question. Is there any period that you enjoyed working in the, like you really, really, I know you and Tim were, a great rhythm section, but when you guys worked, was it the Fudge? Was it with Beck? Was it with Cactus?
Well, for me, the greatest time and the greatest success was with Robb.
Right.
The other things were like Vanilla Fudge, the first one, that was great. It was really exciting.
Yeah.
And going down to play on the Ed Sullivan Show
Yep.
2 times, asking the guy in the elevator operator how many people watch this. 50 million people.
50 million. Yeah, I saw that I saw that a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's amazing. I mean, I'm like a freaking monster on that thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that started the big bass drums, and the whole band started a fad of that kind of movement.
How many kids became drummers because of the Vanilla Fudge?
Yeah, so I mean that was amazing. It started with Cactus, because we got, after our Papa, huh? That's a funny couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had the Vanilla Fudge. We made ourselves something, and Cactus was like taking it to the next level of musicianship and jamming. Mm-hmm. We were like one of the first jam bands.
You were. I was just going to say that.
But we never get noted as that,
Right.
And then the Beck thing was, the trio was great. And I did a lot of singing.
Yep.
But I never, with all those bands, we never released an album and knew it was going to sell 5 million. And I got my walls covered in my studio with old gold and platinum records mostly from Rod, and from me playing with Rod, all these other things I did.
Right.
The Paul Stanley record, the Pink Floyd, and and all this other stuff because I was so big with Rod.
Yeah. Did you are you in contact with Rod at all now?
Yeah, I just saw him a few weeks ago out here, and he has a house in Palm Beach.
Oh, cool.
We went out for a drink. I got a picture on my phone with both of us, and we had a good chat. And I told him I wanted to come to Vegas when he plays there. He said, "Man, I want to come up and play Hot Legs or Sexy with you. You get Billy Peak up to play. Why not me? I know you since 1968."
Are you going?
Well, I was going to go, but then Rod's not good with communication on the internet and stuff, So I reached out to him. I said, we're going to do this. I'll make a reservation to come. And I'm on my way to LA to go to my daughter's wedding anyway. So the manager who manages the Fudge said, I'll buy tickets. We'll go together. And if you get to play, fine. But then he bought tickets for the day my daughter's getting married. I said, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I just said, screw it. I stopped kind of trying to pursue it, But we had a good time. We had a good chat. When we were in Vanilla Fudge, Ronnie and Rod were with Jeff Beck, and they came to New York for the first time. We had the same attorney.
Okay.
And they wanted to come, Ronnie and Rod wanted to come to a Vanilla Fudge recording session, because we were big and they weren't yet, So they came and they went in the corner and they sat there like two little kids like this.
Really?
They didn't do anything.
Well,
They didn't say a peep. So I said to Rod, I said, you remember when you guys came, to see us in the studio at the record plant? You and Ronnie came in, you sat there like two little kids. Yeah, I remember. I said, boy, have times changed. Huh?
Yeah, really. So you've worked with some worked with some of the hardest people to work with in the industry. Beck.
Yeah.
Beck is no.
Yep.
Beck is tough. Rod is tough.
Yeah. Rod was pretty easy though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was pretty easy. I mean, we were the Rod Stewart group, not like it is now.
Right. We
were the Rod Stewart group. When we went on the road, we had a percentage of the take.
Okay.
And we did albums. He paid us good money. Right. We wrote a song. We kept our publishing.
Sure.
And our writing. If we wrote a song together with him, it's 50-50.
Oh, wow.
And then, every time
you wrote some of the biggest.
Yeah, I wrote some of the biggest. Do You Think I'm Sexy? It's unbelievable.
And how about Young Turks?
And Young Turks, yeah. I got my buddy Dwayne Hitchings into the camp because he helped write Sexy with me. And we presented it with a really good demo that he did in the studio.
Right.
And then he got to know Rod, And then the next album came, Young Turks. He was looking for new modern, new wave stuff.
Yeah.
And me and Dwayne were just endorsed by Oberheim Drum Machines. And we put the Young Turks together. And he liked that arrangement and that style so much. He did the title track of that album, Tonight I'm Yours, in the same way. And I played drum machine and I played hi-hat and cymbals, and I was like a co-producer on that album. which I ended up not being. That's when the end started.
Okay.
You know, and when I wrote my book, my book called Stick It, My Life is Sex, Drums, Rock and Roll, Rod wrote the intro.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you read that book, but he wrote the intro and said, I fired Carmine, fuck knows why. And, you know, they were both doing, you know, Jim Cregan was a little jealous of me and was in Rod's ear all the time because it was always Rod did all the major press on the tours and everything.
Right.
And remember, Rod fired the whole band except me, and I brought Jim Cregan back in, you know.
Wow.
And then he's the guy that I think had me fired from Rod because he was in Rod's ear and he was always jealous of my popularity, you know. And but then, you know, me and Rod were enemies for a little bit. And then we became friends again. And then the interesting thing is Jeff and Rod were always on the outs.
Right.
Now, guess who got them back together?
You?
Me.
Well, and that was People Get Ready, right?
Yes, and that, and we got no credit for it, me and Dwayne. You know?
Wow.
And, you know, people forget how things happen, you know?
Yep.
But Jeff Beck was in the hotel that we were in Australia. He played the night before, and one night in a 6,000 seater. We played 6 nights in the 6,000 seater, and then we played a stadium.
Yeah.
So somebody said, hey, Jeff's in the hotel. I said, there was Rody. I said, where is he? He gave me his room, and I went up, knocked on the door, and he answered the door. I go, wow, dude, we're in the same hotel. We're playing tomorrow.
Wow.
You here? He goes, yeah, I'm here. I said, why don't you come? He goes, Rod would want me to come, you know. I said, fine. So I went to Rod. I said, Jeff's in the hotel. He wants to come to the show tomorrow. You cool? He thought about it again. Yeah, I'm okay. And then when he came, it was really funny. Jeff knocks on the door. And Rody goes and answers. He comes up to me. He goes, hey, Jeff's asking if he's at the door. I said, have him come in. He comes in, stands to me. Jeff and Rod look at each other like time stood still for a minute.
Wow.
You know, you didn't know how it was going to happen. Then they walked to each other, and they gave each other a hug, and that was it.
Wow.
Next thing you know, they're back friends again.
Yeah.
And they're doing gigs together.
Yep.
You know, I mean, it's unbelievable. You get involved in something, you help something along the way, and you see it develop into that, you know. And then the same thing with People Get Ready. When me, Dwayne, and Jeff went to Dwayne's house, we put that together. You know, and I said, man, this sounds like People Get Ready, because I sang that with the Fudge.
Right.
I said, oh, yeah, it is. I sang along with it. And Jeff says, you think we can get Rod? Well, sure, let's give it. Oh, God. Carlos Cavalos is calling me now, all time.
Oh, wow.
Hold on a minute.
Sure.
Carlos, I'm just doing a Zoom interview. Can I call you back? Okay, man. Yeah.
Tell Carlos I want to talk to him.
Yeah, he's not good at that. He's one of these recluse guitar players. So anyway,
but
so it's weird how all this stuff happens, you know?
Okay, well, you've let me just go through some of the stuff. You've worked with Rick Derringer.
Yep.
Jan Ackerman.
Yep.
Pat Travers.
Pat Travers, yep.
Those are just Mike Bloomfield. He was tough to work with. Mike was tough.
Yeah, he's really tough.
Yeah.
You know, my next thing is going to be Guitar Zeus, the book.
The book, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let me know when you're ready for that. I got the guy to do it with you.
Who is it?
Pat Thomas.
Who is it?
Pat Thomas does tons of his day job is he does compilation albums and things for the big record companies. He's worked with Aretha. He's worked with just everybody.
Is he a writer?
He's a writer, and he knows where to find the missing tapes and things.
Wow, how funny.
Yeah, he's a great. You remember that book, Listen Up, Whitey, about the Black Panthers?
No.
Well, he wrote that too. That's his book as well.
I've been talking to this guy that wrote this book about the Beatles. It's called The Beatles. It's like a huge book. He made $1 million off it.
Hunter?
So he called me to do a new book, a Led Zeppelin book, an interview. And I turned him on to Jeff Beck and on different people and said that he got. And I told him I want to do the next book, Guitar Zeus, the book.
Right.
He said, I'll write it with you. And I'll get the deal.
What's his name?
I forgot. Spitz. Hold
Okay,
on.
Henry Spitz?
Bob Spitz, maybe.
Bob Spitz, maybe.
Hold on. Hold on a minute. I think that's his name. Anyway,
Yeah.
so he's been working on this. Yeah, Bob Spitz.
Okay.
Been working on this Led Zeppelin book, and I don't know. It's been forever, but I want to start getting this thing together.
Pat's working on a Van Morrison book now.
Oh, right. Does he have a deal?
I believe he does. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to talk to him.
I'll hook you up.
Because the hardest part is getting the deal.
I know.
You know.
I know. I've been dealing with John Altman. I don't know if you're familiar with John. He's a big arranger in the UK.
Yeah.
And do you remember Zoot Money?
Yeah.
I'm very friendly with Zoot. He's still working in the UK, and the Pretty Things. Remember the Pretty Things?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Wally Waller and all those guys, and they're all putting out books now. Everybody's doing books.
Yeah. I mean, my book was originally we got the deal on DH1 Books, which was great, and then I got the writer that did Nikki Sixx's book.
All right. Okay.
And then by the time we finished it, they went out of business.
Oh wow.
VH1, but they gave me my full advance. I paid the guy, and then I didn't want to wait around and look for another deal forever. Right. So I took this deal with Chicago Review Press, you know, and they did all right. You know, I sold maybe 10,000 books, but I never made it on any of the charts or anything, you know. But yeah, I was playing in this book for years, 20 years. I was playing in that book.
Right.
I used to call it the International Guide to Hotel Wrecking, you know, and then I ended up changing the name.
Well, where can we get the book now? I know it's on
Amazon.
Amazon.
Oh, yeah, Amazon, my website.
Yeah, why don't you tell everybody about your website? I was on it today.
Well, it's CarmineAppice.com. You can get Guitar Zeus record, anything you buy on there, drum books or my stick it book, you know, I autograph it and we send it out. I have a team that sends it out, you know, you know, there's one point where I was sending out, you know, 75, 100 books a day.
Wow.
You know, but when they first came out, the stick it book. But I've sold a lot of my realistic rock books on there too, but that's a good way to get it.
And so, future plans, what are we doing?
Say again? Future plans, just like I said, I'm doing King Kobra. That was Carlos calling me. I'm working on the King Kobra album with Carlos and Paul Shortino, and we're re-releasing all my drum books, and we're going to start doing them in different languages, with downloads, and you know, I'd like to do this Guitar Zeus, the book, and that just reminded me that I got to keep moving on that.
By the way, before I forget, Pat Thomas is doing a table book now on Ernie Kovacs.
Oh, wow.
So,
cool.
I mean, this guy's legit. I'll talk to him about you.
Yeah, talk to him. Because, you know, as you named off all those guitar players, then there's all the guys I worked with on Guitar Zeus and the Jeff Becks and the, you know, and the Jim McCartys.
I mean, you go from Neil Schon, you know, you've hit everybody. There's nobody who you haven't, you know.
Well, the only ones I haven't really worked with, but I've experienced stuff with them, is Clapton and Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
But everybody, pretty much every other major guitar player, I had something to do with somewhere.
And I saw you did a Bonham tribute, so you did do some Zepp work.
Oh, you mean like online, that Black Dog?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I got 1.4 million views on that, so I was very surprised. Yeah. And it's all good.
Yeah, it is all good. So you're in Florida now, and it's a good place to be, you know. And
it's been open the whole time with this stupid COVID stuff.
I know.
And
it's
you
ridiculous.
know, we're going out on the road now with the Fudge. We got 9 shows coming up.
Yeah.
Cactus got 3 shows. I just did 3 shows.
Wow.
So we got like, you know, about 15, 16 shows all done in the fall here. You know, before that, there's nothing. I did a Nashville convention with my brother a month in the beginning of October.
Right.
That was the first time I did anything.
Wow.
You know?
Now, Are you also getting into non-secular music now?
Into what?
Into a non-secular branch of music? Are you getting into that whole,
What's non-secular
you know,
music?
the Christian music world?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I actually, when I almost died 3 years ago, I got more into listening to the Bible, become more Christian. An amazing church down here in Florida. It's like a revival. So I've been writing some Christian songs. I produced this chick singer named Lisa G. She's it's kind of Christian. So she co-wrote one of the songs with me and the guitar player from the church. I got the lead singer of the church, who's an amazing singer, and some of the female singers. And guy Fernando Perdomo that did my new album.
Right.
He played bass and guitar on two of the tracks and some keyboard. And I put these songs together. I wrote two of them myself with everything, lyrics, chords, arrangements, sang the melody, everything. And the last one was done with with Lisa and T from the church. But they're really good songs. They're really interesting songs. And I've been listening to K-Love, which is the Christian radio station, just to see what their mixes are like and all that.
Right. Now,
And I got Pat Regan mixing it. And the drums on these Christian songs are a little different than regular drums. They're very tribal.
yeah.
And I got the church a D-drum kit for the church. They were playing electronic drums, and it just wasn't happening.
Okay.
So as soon as I got this kit, the kid that plays, 28 years old, this guy named John Paul, is an awesome player.
Yeah.
So now we're just starting to put together some ideas to do a Christian rock drum book.
Oh, wow.
How to play Christian rock.
Now, we have a mutual friend, Casper McLeod.
Yeah, I know Casper, yeah.
Yeah.
Casper emails me every day.
Yeah, well, I met Casper when Michael Shreve was producing his album at Electric Lady.
Oh.
That's how far back I go with Casper. I know Casper 40 whatever years.
But for the name Goldstein, you're not.
No. I'm a heathen.
Yeah, I know. So is my wife.
Yeah, I'm a heathen, and actually, I know Casper for many moons, and it's amazing how many artists are going into that field. Rick Derringer.
Oh yeah, I know. I had Rick play on one of my tracks, but he didn't do a great job, so I had to replace it.
Yeah, dump it.
But I'm friend. Yeah, I talk to Rick every other week.
Yeah. And
he asked me if I would do some Christian gigs with him. I said, sure, if you got them.
Wow.
They pay good money as any other one, and I enjoy it.
Yeah, and it's Casper too. Casper's an incredible guitarist.
Yeah.
Casper's a great guitarist, and
he just asked me if I would play on a new track. I said, yeah, I'd like to do it. I'm just getting swamped now because for 6 weeks or 8 weeks, my studio was down because I got hit by lightning, and my computer got fried. But luckily, my hard drives were saved. Yeah. I had to get a new Focusrite and a new screen.
Right.
So my brother built the studio for me. Vinny, he's a computer geek. Wow. So he just got it back to me, and I'm just getting it up and running. So I got all the stuff backlogged. I got 3 or 4 Kobra songs to do. I got a song with the girl Lisa G, and I got who else just sent me a song? And he sent me a song. Oh, my guy Fernando, my partner in my instrumental. He's doing a Todd Rundgren tribute album. He's a producer as well in LA. So I got that today. I said, dude, I don't know when I'm going to get to it, And then once I leave on October 23rd, I'm gone for almost a month.
Right.
So I'm going to try and over the next 2 weeks do as much as I can do.
Wow. So when you are running across Robbie Krieger?
We start on the 20. Well, the tour starts for us on the 26th. We do two dates without him, and then we do 2 dates with him, and then there's a break for a week, and then we do about 3 or 4 dates together.
And do you know who's in his band?
I don't.
He's been working with a lot of the old Frank Zappa alumni guys.
Yeah, I mean, last time he played in New Jersey, I went up and jammed with him on one of his songs. I forgot which one.
In fact, I think Chad Wackerman was doing the drums for him on his last couple of albums.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
So I got to get going.
Okay, my friend.
Okay. I hope
Yeah.
you got enough here.
I do. Can I bug
Do you
you
edit?
again?
Do you edit? Do you edit this
Yes.
stuff?
Yeah, I'll clean it up and
Yeah.
send you a copy. Can we do it again in a couple of weeks? Just catch up?
Well, I would say wait till this tour is over.
Yeah, after the tour.
November, mid-November,
Okay.
late November.
Okay, so stay well. I know you're in a crazy place. You're in
Yeah,
Florida.
man. Yeah.
And stay well, and I'll speak to you soon.
Okay, dude. Thanks,
Carmine,
man.
thank you.
Cheers. All right, bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye.